This is Detective Bandit at the scene of the crime. It's currently 4:30. I have a victim here in his early 20s, and he seemed to be backstabbed brutally. What's that? What's the motive? Well, I think it was because he talked to a girl once. What's that? Huh? That's it? Look, let me explain further. In Survivor Season 22, Redemption Island, the first 4-time player, Boston Rob, constructed a loyal mentality for his Ometepe tribe. Pre-merge, this included the elimination of the 2 outcasts, Francesca and Christina, who had opposed Rob. And Matt. Matt formed a close relationship with Andrea that Rob felt threatened by, as he knew the power that couples had in the game. First hand. Matt was sent to Redemption Island, but subsequently won duel after duel. When Matt returned, he had 2 options. He could either go back to his original tribe that voted him out, or the Zapateras that, while a largely unknown contingent, did bond with him primarily over religion. Nonetheless, a non-spoken precedent was set that Matt shouldn't be voted out again immediately because he had spent so long on Redemption Island. But when Rob got into a conversation with Matt, he told him he couldn't promise his allegiance to his original tribe and would have to think about it. In one of the most cutthroat moves, Rob rallied his Ometepes and got them all to vote out Matt, ultimately voting with them, and they burned the Zapatera idol. With this move, Rob took the last line of defense away from the opposition, betrayed Matt, and most importantly, set forth a very concrete expectation for his alliance. As we hear from David at the final tribal, Rob used this move to show his alliance any sign of disloyalty would not be tolerated, irrespective if you just came back from redemption.
Matt, once again, the tribe has spoken.
On the topic of redemption, at number 4 we have double returnee trouble, with Dawn betraying Brenda, with a move so sinister that there's still conversations about it today. See, Dawn was a woman that wore her heart on her sleeve and was very emotional, although this may have been because of her tragic life events, such as losing her teeth in a mugging. Dawn therefore had fake teeth, but in a game like Survivor, where losing blood, sleep and even clothing is inevitable, Dawn's teeth were washed away one day when scrubbing her face. Dawn called upon Brenda, fellow returnee and friend, begging her to dive down and search for her teeth. Now Brenda didn't have to, but she took herself out of the game to search for the retainer because Dawn said she would quit without them. Brenda found them, and naturally Dawn was beyond thankful. But this was only the start. See, at the final 6, after winning the family challenge with her loved one and picking the Meehans to join, Brenda has a really fun, very fair, and definitely well thought out dilemma. Brenda could either keep who she picked, or let everyone not picked, which there were 4 by the way, get the evening away with their loved ones. Who asked for this? But Brenda obviously doesn't commit social suicide and takes the exchange, meaning her alongside Dawn get nothing. Back at camp, Dawn gets emotional again over not being able to see her family, causing Brenda, who won the challenge and could have had it all, left to comfort her. Now, in the game of Survivor, just because you're nice to someone doesn't mean you're entitled to their vote. That being said, Dawn proves this point exactly as she jumps on Cochran and Sherry's plan to blindside Brenda in a 3-2-1 vote, which by itself would have been a notable backstab through the aforementioned reasons. It bumps it up to a top 4 betrayal. That being said, at least Dawn didn't have an idol which Brenda used against her.
Brenda, the tribe has spoken.
Of course, we're talking about everyone's favourite duo, Cody and Jesse. These 2 were the power players on Survivor 43 that bonded over hat making, constantly losing immunity challenges, and Jesse's divorce. Most of Survivor 43 was the Cody and Jesse show, with them previously on the channel, but I feel I haven't touched enough on their relationship. See, Vesey were the original underdogs, losing the 2nd and 3rd immunity challenge back to back, but the 2 were always able to call the shots. In episode 2, Cody made a risky move by opening the Beware advantage and losing his vote. The only way he could get it back was by building the idol out of the 6 beads. He immediately tells Jesse he was worried about losing the numbers or going to rocks, but Jesse has a smart idea. Cody's hat. Jesse does a lot of the legwork in creating the plan to get everyone's beads by stringing them around the hat, and even nudges the others to add to the project. This friendship continued into the merge and proved pivotal in the eliminations of Dwight, Ryan and Noel. Throughout the stretch of the game, Gio and thereafter James obtained the knowledge is pointless power. It allowed them to take a known idol from an individual, causing idol paranoia even after James's boot. Cody trusted Jesse and gave him his idol for safekeeping, with the expectation his old friend would give it back to him, likely at the final 5. At the final 6, Jesse realised the importance in eliminating Cody so he could differentiate his game, and a tribal stood up with Cody's original idol. Going behind Cody's back to blindside him was brutal enough, but Jesse poured salt in the wound by taking Cody's form of protection and burning it in front of his very own eyes as he played it for Owen. The look on Cody's face says it all. Now, to be fair, Cody respects it as a game move and even hugs Jesse on his departure. However, it still doesn't change the fact this is pretty cold-blooded by Jesse, but beaten in this list coincidentally by another Jesse with another idol.
Cody, tribe has spoken.
Enter Sam, a returning player alongside their husband Mark, who bonded with a young man called Jesse. Pre-merge, the two were a bit of a power couple, calling the final shots and playing the swing position well. Something that aided the close bond was their mother and son relationship, where Jesse probably trusted her more than he should have. Fast forward to the merge, where he found out can't play his idol, and Mel became melancholy. During this time, Jesse's brother Jordy plotted to get out Josh but failed, burning Josh's ally Mark, and his wife Sam. I mean, I never said Australian Survivor wasn't complex, okay? To deepen the plot, Jordy wins immunity, forcing the majority to target his younger brother Jesse. But Jesse doesn't want his big brother to steal the limelight and gets his own form of immunity in an idol, which Sam quickly busts him for. Now, Sam at this point was all aboard the Jesse blindside train, but this idol stalled the mission. Except, with quick thinking, Sam tells Jesse the others will be suspicious of him being gone so long, and tells him to give it to her so she can keep it safe, which surprisingly Jesse does. Yes, some of this naivety can be attributed to his age, but he genuinely seemed to trust Sam. This crescendos into the final tribal council, with Sam getting the most cutthroat confessional ever.
Thanks for the idol.
Yep, that's correct. Sam befriended Jesse, took his idol, and then voted her previous closest ally out while stealing from him. Considering half of the season's storyline after this round revolves around Sam betraying Jesse and holding on to his idol, speaks for itself to how big of a betrayal this was. That being said, it pales in comparison to Betrayal so iconic, it's been talked about for 20 years. We started with Boston Rob, and if I'm nothing but consistent, we're ending with Boston Rob in All Stars. Because these were all-star contestants, all of them had appeared on the show prior. Something you may also have to remember is the Survivor community at this time was incredibly tight-knit. Many of the contestants were good friends, and some even dated. Rob and Lex formed a close bond outside of the game, and so did Ethan plus Amber, who dated. So when Ethan was voted out and Amber got swapped, there was concern for Rob that Amber would be pre-jury, hanging out on Ponderosa with her ex. This caused Rob to pull Lex aside after the challenge and told him if he looked out for Amber, he would look out for him at the merge. Lex therefore buys into Rob's offer, voting out Jerry, despite her being completely reasonable towards him. Cue the merge, which Lex was obviously paranoid for, as without Rob and Amber's votes, his side wouldn't have the numbers. Therefore, naturally, as you may expect, Rob honours Lex's. I'm only kidding, Lex got curb stomped. Rob tells him he only said he would try to look out for him and massively betrays Lex. Unlike the other prior blindsides covered in this video, individuals like Cody and Jesse seem to bury the hatchet. Except in this analogy, Lex digs up the hatchet and uses it to decapitate Rob in one of the most brutally truthful final tribal councils, telling him he sold out his values, friendships and morals without any money being able to buy it back again. Okay, yes, he was also stating this speech to Amber, but again, considering his prior close bond with Rob, it was mostly for him. As one of my commenters write, did Rob and Lex ever become friends again? I imagine they didn't. Rob was pretty cold-blooded this season, and Lex takes things very personally. Lex even goes on a rant at the live reunion, which, mind you, is months after the game, still calling out Rob and how, when you make a deal with someone, it shouldn't be broken. If you enjoyed this video, a subscription plus a like would be greatly appreciated, and let me know any other brutal betrayals that I missed. On screen now is a video outlining 5 brilliant fan-made Discord Survivor twists I think survivors should watch, and so should you too. Nonetheless, have a great day. Peace!